Okay. You guys can all hear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so the last meeting was held a couple weeks ago. I found out that my eyeballs weren't recording or picking up audio, so this one works. Thank you guys for all showing up. Few things that I want to go over is, first off, happy holidays, and we've come out of that holidays, so it's time to get back to business. I started a new channel in the emails. It's called Monthly Focus. And so the month of January, I want to make sure that all members that are about that business get into the boosting. Everybody that's here already is there, right, Christian? Or no?
Just have to chop.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll probably get started on that this week.
So getting everybody to boosting. Boosting is definitely that thing that is the reward at the end of the tunnel for all the salvaging and chopping, and then once you get into boosting, obviously that's a grind itself, but it's a it's a fun way to just spend your time killing locals and finding cool cars and shit. Just last week I came across a D-class contract with a extremely rare car. I ended up selling it for a $500,000. It was pretty fucking cool. Second thing is for the weed group specifically, we have a spreadsheet where we're recording our females and our males and the bud output and the soil samples and stuff. Leland and I and a couple other people, we've narrowed it down to every female plant averages anywhere from 6 to 8 bud. That's what the average is coming out to, is about 6.5 to 7 bud. Um, so you can base your math off of that. If you got like 200 female seeds, you're going to be averaging around 1,400, uh, you know, bud and shit like that. So that's cool. Leland's been doing a really good job. We also have a corner selling spreadsheet, but so far that's just for Leland, myself, and Rory. Uh, Frank's been doing a really good job at growing weed, and I made sure that he's getting paid really well for the work that he's doing. He's doing a really good job with that. Thank him for that. And then the last thing for the monthly focus is other drugs. So we know that in a very short period of time, there's going to be all this new stuff that's brought into the city, and with that, I hope for a minimum of like 3 new drugs. Um, that's just my opinion. I have no facts behind that. I'm not holding anything from you guys. I'm just in the hopes, it'd be really cool to see more than just coke, oxy, meth, and weed. But that being said, I kind of talked with Frank and Rory and Leland and stuff, and when those drugs get brought in, we're all on the agreement that it would be cool to spend some time searching for those locations, establishing operations in those, because we know how to make money, and it's with weed, and yeah, weed takes a lot of time, like an astronomically amount of time compared to meth, and who knows? Maybe we'll just tap into meth if the other drugs are, yeah, who knows? But yeah, so that's the monthly focus. Um, the things that I wanted to go over in this meeting is like I said, we're out of the holidays, so now it's time to get back to our grind. We need to get active, and the most important thing that I want us to be focusing on is promoting TMG and recruit without saying we're recruiting. You guys are all smart people. Spread the word about us. Tell everybody that we're business orientated. We don't shoot first. We ask questions first. Um, and we want to be different than all the other gangs that just fucking shoot for no reason. And for the people who are bringing in people, I really appreciate that Leland had the lead on 4 people just yesterday, which was awesome. It looks to be 3 of those people are a good possibility that they'll join here coming really soon. Um, 50K contros, that's going to be happening weekly. That's going to be the minimum moving forward. Um, for everybody that's here at this table, I don't think we have any issues with 50K. 50K is pretty light on a weekly basis as long as we're all doing our shit that we need to be doing to get the money. Uh, Now that December's over and we no longer are getting free mats, all that refined stuff is just going to be sitting there until we either find a plug for big guns or we actually get BPs ourselves for that. But as far as all the regular materials, we're going to have to start getting that as well. So that might be a thing that I bring back to the Contras as well. It would be 50K and then also some mats on top of that. Um, there is some some leeway with some of that stuff. So like if somebody fucking grinds dropping and they have like I don't know some bullshit like 75K or 100K worth of mats, yeah, I'll take that instead of the 50K. But there's a lot of things that we need to be getting that cost money, and so that's why I want the gang contras to be money. Uh, One of those things that we were doing before the holidays was once a week. We had everybody that's participating in weed. We do once a week gang grows. So everybody comes together, and whoever can participate uh, will be paid to do a massive gang grow, and then all that money just goes straight into the gang bank. Leland and I have the highest corner selling right now, so we'll be the ones to sell the gang drugs for right now. And then another thing is member promotions and disciplinary actions and demotions. So promotions, Christian, Frank, those guys got the street soldiers the other day. So congrats to you guys. You guys both deserve it. Frank, you're doing a really, really good job in the weed business. Christian, you're doing really good with the whole getting our face out there, especially in the race scene, which is awesome. You're definitely building connections, and I'm excited to see where that goes. Um, Disciplinary actions. So I'm not going to keep anything away from you guys. It's not a strike. It's more of a warning. I pulled Jack aside yesterday and I gave him a trial run. I told him that he has 1 week to supply me with a certain amount of female seeds, and if he does not get his act together, he's going to be kicked from the gang. Um, and then Rory, if you want to speak, or Leland, if you guys want to speak, go ahead.
No, I think I'm pretty good. I mean, just make sure we stay up on Contras. I know a few people before break didn't pay their 35K, which I mean we're not going to go back and worry about it. But from here on out, just make sure you get your Contras in. And you were the only exception because you just started. So
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for
Um,
me, the big thing is just if we go to about the whole kind of getting our name out there. The only thing I did to get a number from like 4 people yesterday or the day before, whenever it was, I just drove up to the mine. You know, like mining or salvaging, that's where we're going to find people pretty easily that aren't affiliated to anyone so far. So once in a while, just keep an eye on it. If you think like, oh yeah, maybe I'm not in a mood to do some grinding or whatever, just check your app on your phone, the labor app, and if you see like there's 2 or 3 people mining or You have 2 or 3 people at salvaging in the job app. Just drive over there, see how they're doing, ask if they need any help with anything, and get the ball rolling that way. Like Mr. Nobody said, it's recruiting without really saying we're recruiting. So just go over there, be friendly to them, like ask if they need help with their job, or they need some information about something, and then just loosely bring it up that if they need a group to roll with, or whatever, that we're there, and just get some contact details. Same thing I did is just get their numbers. I pass them on to Mr. Nobody so he can invite them to the block, and then we can have like a proper chat with them, and have a sit down. So, and that's about all for me. And then the big thing as well on that front is that, like, we do want to emphasize as well, we don't want you guys necessarily grinding all day. Um, in the end, the city is made to have social interaction with each other and have some fun. So, you know, I think moving forward, we should also try to just, whenever we can, if there's like some events going on, I know a lot of them are late and they kind of don't fit our schedule, because goddamn Bahama Mamas and all them, they always host their events at like 10 p.m. EST for some reason.
Yeah, and I think that's the
Um,
stupidest thing ever, especially on the
yeah,
weekend.
so it's
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 I
it's
think it's because a
different
lot of
for
them are fucking PST too.
yeah, so it's tough for us who are used to European time zones. But hey, if it's not that, then I also want to suggest we just some days, if we can try and organize something with the gang, some sort of activity, or we just go to a place, hang out somewhere, that kind of thing. So it's not just purely Frank is in the trenches all day growing weed, or Christian has to go over to chopping or salvaging the whole day, that kind of thing. We don't. Sure, we have to bring money in and all that kind of stuff, but I mean, I guess you guys realize as well that you don't have to put that much work into keep up with stuff. And if you just like get some passive money income or whatever, then you should be all good. But that's about it for me.
Yeah, yeah, you're definitely right.
One thing I want to do is like every like weekend, if we can get it together, like after say the meeting or something, like we go do one job together as a gang, like work on say let's do fishing one night, and we all just go fishing, get everybody stuff up, you know, however it is, just start working on all that stuff, just get our reps up on everything. I mean, it's free, easy money, and something we can kind of just hang out and do, especially the fishing, because I mean, there's possibilities of getting blueprints, and those chests are pretty nice to get sometimes too.
Yeah, that I don't know if everybody here knows, but fishing apparently gives like once you hit a certain year of fishing, you actually have a good chance of getting BPs. I've been told that, it's the lower end. It's like the pistols or thermite or radios, handcuffs, stuff like that. It's not like SMGs and shit like that. But it's something, and at this point, like, we've been in the game long enough to where we should have already gotten a BP, and we're just getting really unlucky with the banks and the stores and GPS trackers and shit like that. So not only is it a calm, like, relaxing job to do, uh, the more of us in a job, it gets it done extremely fast. And two, as we all build our reputation up in it, we all have chances of getting uh, BPs, which that would be fucking insane at this point. Like, one thing that I will bring up is that we know of a location where we can buy thermite schematics and long range radio schematics. Um, and us higher ups, we've been dabbling with the idea of buying BPs individually or as a gang, because if we use gang money, then obviously all the materials that the gang has would go towards crafting that stuff, and then in return, it would only be used for the gang unless like I listed it for sale, and then we sell the radios, for instance, or the thermites, and all that money would be going towards the gang too. Whereas if we do it individually, individual mats, individual money, and then that person would just ultimately sell it for money for themselves. So that's also another thing, is we have both of those readily available, so banks shouldn't be an issue moving forward, as well as long range radios and communicating. Like nobody should have short range radios unless they like just got killed and they have to go to the store and buy something. Christian or Frank, do you guys have anything?
No, I mean, you guys know where I'm at right now, just grinding, getting my money up, racing. I'll probably get into some shit, a few weeks. I'm trying to get as much money as I can, and then start getting into shit. For banks and stores and trucks probably as well. So
Yeah, at this point, Christian, you are literally the only person other than, like Jay Winkle or other people that haven't even like flown into the city that still has your weapon license. So just keep that in mind, man, because
yeah, 100%.
everybody that doesn't have, everybody that has suspended licenses, we are completely stuck until there's open court. Our shit gets fucking liquefied, and then we have to go and buy it again. And until then, we're all fucked.
I can also reach out to some people throughout, like I know from racing that are gang affiliated, and see if they're willing to, sell some not crazy guns, but maybe a revolver or some shit like that for cheap that we can all get our hands on.
Yeah, I think all of us kind of have like our own connections and shit like that, which is really good. And I can definitely say that I have quite a few connections for that as well. It's just tough because like that's a whole other ball game of prices, and until we get our gang bank account up, it's gonna be hard to just go out and like buy those guns. Like
Yeah, 100%.
that's
I
one of
think
those things
that
that I want to make sure that everybody understands is like 50K is like nothing. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like,
When we get up to like 200K contributions a week, that's when you start thinking, oh shit, we better start grinding harder.
yeah,
right.
the most thing that we can do right now is I think we should try to get safe crackers, hit stores, and just honestly get better at driving because it's like with the new whole um mechanic and how cars drive and stuff, getting away from cops is just a whole different ball game.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and it don't help. Like we experienced it firsthand. It don't help that the cops are. I mean, I don't want to say it, but nearly straight up cheating to catch us. We had a guy, I don't know. Do you know about it, Christian? What went down yesterday?
I know you guys shot cops. I don't
Yeah.
know the
So
whole backstory.
essentially, I was street racing, right? And the cops showed up. It was only like a 10-man race or something. I pulled off the race, right? And for some reason, they brought down like 4 cops on me. They didn't even bother with the race anymore. They just wanted to get me because I was driving the Corvette or something, I guess. I don't know. And it ended up being a thing where I had to swap because I had the 4 cops on me. So I swapped to Mr. Nobody's car. He eventually got his car to a red engine as well. Then we had a third car, my car, that was stashed up at the mountains. My truck, which isn't as good anymore now, but what basically happened is like the cops, when we were going up the mountain by the dam, the cops crashed like 2 or 3 times where they like slid down the mountain and then they would magically appear again, like coming up the mountain, even though their car was just like totaled pretty much. So, they were probably, using their S class mode, S plus class mode to get up the hill and then chase again. Um, but yeah, they were dedicating like a shit ton of forces to us for
Yeah,
no apparent reason. And then obviously we came to the end of it because we already done a couple swaps, and then it was just like, yeah, I mean, we might as well shoot now to have a bit of fun.
And then yeah,
But
no,
yeah,
if you ever get chased during races, just continue doing the race, go to the end of the race. All the racers there are gonna, you guys will all deal with the cops together. Because that happened to me. I got chased, and they're like, "Why don't you just pull up to the race again? We'll handle them." Blah blah blah. So
yeah, I think it was just like, cause the thing was, I kept driving around there and going past like the finish line, but they all just split off, like no one was
yeah,
helping.
yeah.
So, and that's why, like again, I tried to pull off, and there was initially there was just one cop on me, but then all of a sudden they just decided like, okay, this is the car we're going for.
And I think that another thing we can, is do some more blocks as well. I think blocks are gonna be really important.
Yep, yep, for
Go to the
sure.
garbage, grab a garbage truck, and set up a block,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, we
Um,
talked about it as well. It was very unfortunate just because, like, it was a whole, it was just a bunch of circumstances. They brought out, like, the entire force, and then apparently they just had an intake of, like, 30 new recruits,
yeah,
and every fucking cop was carrying 3 recruits in their car. So, they had 3 or 4 cars pull up, but there was, like, 15 cops there in, like, no time.
yeah, and also I think we should maybe buy some bikes, like a BF
Yeah,
400 dirt
that's the
bike.
one
It's
thing. Yeah.
so easy to get, not easy to get away, but it helps a lot. It's like an easy getaway. You can set it up,
Yeah. And that's the thing.
over a
Yeah.
curb or a rail where the cops can't get over. You get on the bike and you're out of there. Especially
Oh,
for
yeah.
if we hit, let's say, we get to the point where we do a bobcat, right? And we can get some
Hmm.
blueprints for ourselves. We don't want to get caught with the blueprints. Let's just set up 2 bikes, and then
Yep.
easy you get out with the blueprints, and then if the people go to jail, you go to jail.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's exactly what I was thinking about as well. So that's a good point. We've seen now how the cops basically deal with the situation, um, if they have the resources available. So I don't really want to give them an inch when it comes to going easy on them, or the whole idea nobody that we had a couple of weeks back about, oh, let's use a local car and all that shit. I mean, you see now what kind of force they bring out,
Yeah,
and
so I mean, you can always
it's
use a local car, and then have your car set up or a bike set up
yeah,
somewhere, and then like a local Sultan, pretty quick.
See, that
Have it.
shit's fucking annoying though because they have internal issues that they have to figure out. And so until they figure that shit out and they start reprimanding people that are breaking the laws and shit like that, I just fucking, stay on the outskirts, stay quiet, stay in the shadows as much as we
yeah. I
can.
mean, and that's the thing. Like Christian mentioned, I think it is a case of like if we are gonna do banks, just because of the fact that it takes so long getting to them. With first doing the crackers, and then okay, you get a couple of dongles, and then you have to sometimes wait in the queue for the bank. That's what I'm saying. Like, we shouldn't be taking any risks, and just, I mean, I hate to say it, but we have to go for the W if we do that stuff.
Yeah,
And
and there's also, like, let's
you know,
say I'm driving and I get you two out with the loot. I don't mind just having some fun with the cops driving for a little. If
yeah,
I get
yeah,
I get caught, I get caught. Is what it is, or one of us gets caught.
exactly, exactly. But that's the thing. It's like yesterday again. It was just unfortunate with the timing, the amount of cops that were around, and like me and nobody. I mean, maybe you've seen the body cam footage, but
Oh yeah, I saw.
goddamn, it was like shots fired, and within like 2 minutes, there was like 6 or 7 cars there full of people,
Yeah,
and they had like 20 officers standing around
once one cop gets killed, I'm pretty
It's
sure
game over.
it's
there.
all
Yeah,
like the 13A, and then the whole force will be
It,
at the
it's
location.
See, yeah, Leland's 100% right. It was just you know, wrong time with the whole new recruiting. If that was in the morning time and there was 4 cops, we would have just had fucking SMGs on our back and everything. You know what I mean? Like Leland and I fucking mopped those 3 people like it was nothing, and then out of nowhere there was like 25 more cops.
Yeah, so if you're gonna kill a cop, you have to do it far from the city, and then do it quick, get back in, get out type shit. Just because.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
shit.
exactly.
But
You can come in.
Around. Like we've been doing it the same way. Just whenever someone's around, and you're like, oh, you want to do a bank? Sure, let's hit it, and then you go. And we now have the capability of getting that thermite ourselves and getting the
That
radios
didn't work.
ourselves. So
I'll
whenever
keep
that's
trying.
needed, you just let us know, and we go pick up a blueprint, and then we pump out a bunch of thermite, and we can just sell off the rest.
Yeah, and I don't know what what it looks like now with how the I know the blueprints are
Yeah,
they
thermites last. Yeah, they last forever. Thermite.
well,
Once you craft them, they last forever.
yeah, so the blueprints don't degrade over time anymore. They used to.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes,
That's
yes. So
interesting.
it's per. If you go to the bench, I went to the
Oh,
bench a few weeks ago or last week or whatever,
yeah.
and I think you can maybe get 50 or 4. I don't know. I don't remember the exact number per blueprint. So the same thing for guns now. So you can
Yeah,
stash blueprints and you make guns. That's why I think that
oh, okay.
gangs are not going to be selling guns as of now. I know Sassy has been dismantling FDF.
Yep.
I might ask one of
Well,
the
that's
Sassy
because of the
members.
fucking math tables right now.
Yeah,
Over Q, yeah.
yeah. I can always. I might know one of the Sassy guys I know, see if if they're willing to sell any of the guns they got from FDF for cheap.
Yeah.
That like I don't mind buying a half degraded pistol. That's a good pistol for now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, even if it's a case of like, whenever they're getting, maybe they get a bunch of shit off of FDF where they get like a bunch of SMGs and stuff. If they're willing to sell us like, good pistols that are used at a decent price, if that will get us by for now, so be it. You know,
Yeah,
um, that's the thing we're definitely looking at. But we shouldn't. It shouldn't be a case where we're paying like if we have a 6-man going. Um, it shouldn't be a case where we're paying 900K just to get pistols for ourselves.
Yeah, fuck
Because
that.
that's what people ask. It's like 100 to 150K for a somewhat decent pistol, and that definitely shouldn't be the case. But hey, even if it's a case of like we can supply them with other stuff, but down the line we also have to just make sure that we have those connections when it comes to the whole meth thing and getting access to that, because that could maybe nobody's talked about it before, but if we at some point can get into the meth game, that is going to save people like you, Christian, and mainly people like Frank that have been in the drug game pretty hard. That can save us literal days of
Oh,
work.
yeah.
So like just for a reference, Frank, I don't know if anyone's told you this, but with meth in a single day, you can probably get about, apparently, we don't know this for sure, but it seems that way, that you can get about tenfold of what you get with weed.
Yeah.
In
Yeah, I
like,
heard about that.
if what you get with weed in a week, you can get with meth in like a day.
Yep.
So
We gotta get on it, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
the numbers are insane. With Leland's and my corner selling, every table, if we stayed up for a full 24 hours in city, we could make 2.5 million on one table.
Shit.
yeah,
So
and that
if we were in city, sorry, Leland, if we were in city
yeah,
for like a 10-hour shift and we were able to get 5 bricks, we would have been able to make 500K or close to 1.5 million just in 10 bricks, you know what I mean? Like it would be like 850K or 950K. Like it's insane the the money margin compared to weed.
yeah, and hypothetically, if I would have watched some body cams, just purely hypothetically, I've seen people that are literally have like 6 of those tables down, um, and they're just all cooking them at the same time. So that's like
I
it's an
remember when
easy
Alan
thing,
was
and
saying that. Yeah,
Yeah, he
he would
had
have
six
like
or going one time. I was
five
actually up there
going,
helping him.
6 going, and that's what
yeah,
Boki used to do as well. and Boki just never got to the point where he could buy his own tables.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, you have those people, they put 5 tables down, and yeah, like I said, the effort we put into like growing, doing our cycles of the males and females, they can have that shit done, you know, in 10 hours time. They can have the amount of money you make on a week, you know, a week of weed growing. That's how big the difference is in that. So yeah, I mean, keep your eyes out, you know, keep your ears out, and any sort of information we can get through that to the meth game would be very much welcome. And just one thing, I mean, but like, you know, everyone knows that here probably by now. It's like, you know, FDF, just don't deal with them. You know, anyone else, sure, but it's mostly gonna be people like Sassy, or probably Yakuza or Mafia, where we can get some viable info, and they probably won't fuck us over, you know, if we you know manage to pay for some information or whatever it is. But I think those kind of people are the ones we're going to rely on a bit more, just in terms of information. Because I don't know, Southside is just, it's just a mess of a place. You know, there's a bunch of snakes everywhere down there. It doesn't matter which gang it is; they're all pretty much the same, it seems. So yeah, we don't want to deal with them, I don't think.